Give Me Grace, a podcast by Alan and Nolan, is exclusively sponsored by the Corn Dog Company. Established in 2016, the Corn Dog Company has been serving up honey-dipped corn dog perfection in numerous locations around the country. The Corn Dog Company, home of the honey dog. With all that said, enjoy the show.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads. All my memories gather round her, miner's lady, stranger to blue water. Dark and dusty, painted on the sky, misty taste of moonshine, teardrop in my eye.
Welcome to episode 12 of Give Me Grace. This is a project that was the big idea of Nolan Mickelson. He brought me, Alan, Porky Hansen, along to change the light bulb, and I'm grateful for that. So here we are.
We are here.
It's been fun. So
Yeah.
Nolan, do you have a note or any notes?
I
You
do.
have some. You've written them down.
Yeah.
Nice.
I took
Okay.
notes.
On magic translucent paper. That's awesome.
Yes. Woo! Fun with technology, right?
Yeah.
So I love after the videos come out, everyone's excited to talk about the videos and stuff. So Crystal, who continues to text me, and I love it. We found out we're
Keep it going.
third cousins once removed. as a
No
matter of-
way.
Yeah.
I was bragging about being like fourth cousins with Jane Ann, and here you are,
Yeah.
cousins with everybody, but even Crystal, third cousins.
Crystal, third cousins once removed through the Weavers.
Okay.
We both have Weaver ancestry. So
Okay.
anyway, she told me that people in the community are so excited about our project, and I said, "You have to tell me their names." That doesn't,
Just not
So-
just people. That's vague.
and I know some of them, but I don't know some of them because I haven't been in the community for so long. But
Yeah.
so I want to shout out Donna Kirby James. You know
Okay.
who that is?
No.
No. Curtis Thomas, that's my cousin, one of the Thomas boys.
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, there was Gary and Devin and Brent.
Oh yeah. Curtis is one of the younger brothers. Wait, you're
Carolyn.
cousins with the Thomases?
Their mother is my dad's sister.
Oh wow. How
Nita
about that? I had no idea. So
Yeah.
you're literally cousins, like first cousins. Like
cousins with the Thomases.
wow. Thomases are great. I was thinking about them the other day.
Yeah.
Devin was a year older than us, right?
Yes.
And so I know we knew him the best, but Gary was
Mhm.
3 or 4 years older than us. 3 years.
3. Yeah.
He was a 12-year-old when I was a 9-year-old. And the reason I know that is because I only struck out twice as a 9-year-old in my first year of real Little League baseball,
Yeah.
both times by Gary Thomas.
Oh, okay.
Outside corner at the knees, cheese. Got
And
me.
you remember that?
Got me twice. Oh yeah. 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 I don't know. I don't remember who I danced with at the prom. And I remember
Oh,
Gary
man.
Thomas blowing some low outside cheese past me when I was
Yeah.
9. Yeah.
That's
I don't
funny.
know. Synapses fire.
Yeah. Chris Fowler. I don't know who that is.
Chris Fowler.
Kris.
Okay. I don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't know who that is, but they've talked to Crystal and they're fans
Awesome.
of her.
That's really cool. Yeah, so I guess we mentioned Crystal quite a bit. So that's probably how they just kind of looked her up and said, "Hey, we're
Yeah.
liking this thing." That's amazing.
And then some of our oldest fans that I'm aware of are Neil and Bonnie Sanders.
Oh, the Sanders, they're so awesome. We
He
talked about
always,
the Sanders one time, I think. Were we on camera when we did?
I think
I don't
so, but
remember.
yeah, he'll watch and he'll say that was a great episode.
Oh, that's
So
awesome. He's
shout
so
out to
cool.
the
Just look
Sanders.
at that. Still, we're like old men, and he's still supportive.
But you
It's
know,
awesome.
a lot of people are talking about episode 7 that just came out and
Right.
the sandwiches. They remembered the sandwiches that we used to have at
Yes.
the
Yeah.
parties. So I'm thinking Rochelle's parents must have been the fun parents.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. Some houses are like fun houses. And I will tell you, my house wasn't
We had a lot of
necessarily.
fun.
Well, we had a lot of
Your
fun,
parents
but
usually weren't
it
there.
wasn't co-ed fun. It was just boy fun. We just
Okay,
come over. It was right.
yeah.
So I didn't have one of the hangout houses, and it was Nicole and my goal when we became parents of teenagers that we wanted to have the fun hangout house.
Yeah.
And we had middling success with that.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah.
So that
So
was
that stuck in my mind. So
those were
Sanders,
the
I was trying to
colors.
be like the Sanders.
Yeah.
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 All right.
I think
Well,
he's
I
in
have a
his
quip.
80s and he still watches our episodes. So
Well, who's that?
I think I don't know exactly. I guess we'll have to ask Rochelle when we have
Yeah.
her on, but I think they're in their 80s.
Could be. My dad's 75 and he was one of the younger ones. He's almost
Yeah.
76. So it tracks that some others would be in their
Yeah.
80s. Yeah. Probably maybe younger than Keith Benton, but older than my dad, right around 80. I don't
Mhm.
know. I don't know why I'm aging people, but here we are.
It's
All
fun.
right. Quirky quip. So we had Colette Keel and Brent Keel on. I think my quip is just the amazing connections. So I haven't found him yet, but there's a Carroll student who's going to play basketball for us, whom Brent Keel said to look for me because he knew I taught here. So I'm going to find that kid. It should be easy to find because he's from Littleton, Colorado. So I'll find him. I don't remember
Well,
his name, but I could watch the episode too
yeah,
and
Brent
remember
lives
his
in
name.
Fort Collins, but
Fort Collins. That's it. So yeah, there's only 12 of them. So I'm sure I'll find him. So that's fun. Just the connections.
yeah.
All the connections. Our guest is ready. So here we go. Oh, look at that. Connecting to audio. It's coming on. Coming on. I think he can hear
We'll
us.
quiz him on this class.
He can hear us.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, look, and we can see him. Kevin Andersen. Look
Holy
in the
cow.
flesh, sort of. Wow. Not that you have sort of flesh, but we're separated over the internet. But look at this. This
It's
is
been a long
fantastic.
time.
It has been a long time.
Yeah.
I think probably the last time we'll get into this, the last time I talked to you was probably our senior year of high school. Junior,
Yeah.
maybe junior. Yeah, we came out to see at Mountain Crest, some of us.
Yeah.
Watch play a
been long
football game.
time.
Yeah.
I think
super long.
for me, you came to the fair once, probably junior or senior year, maybe.
Oh,
and
okay.
a bunch of us went down to 23.
I remember going back to the fair a few times after
Yeah.
Okay.
we made the move, but
Yeah.
Probably the last time I saw him, but you see that picture behind you?
that's
Or behind me, I mean?
that is an ugly mug right there.
No,
what's
the picture
funny-
behind Kevin is what.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, me,
look,
of course.
I was looking at Nolan.
Yeah, that's an ugly mug. It is.
Number 12. That's what number I wore in high school. I ended up being number 12.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, I thought I remembered that. I was like, wow, look at that. Number 12.
And guess what episode this is?
Number 12.
Wow. We
That's
should act
called
like we planned it.
numerology. It's random because it's just whoever gets scheduled in there, and you're number 12.
That's crazy.
So we squeezed one in actually, so that made it. You would have been 11, but now
Well,
you're,
this is even more ironic because when we made the move to Mount Crest and it was time to pick out our jerseys, I wanted number 11 because Craig, my older brother, was number 11 in high
Yeah.
school, and I wanted to be number 11 like Craig.
Yeah.
And our coach made anyone that's going to be playing varsity had to be an even number. So I couldn't get an 11, so I went
Yeah.
with 12.
Wow, foiled by your own talent. Look at that.
Why would he have that
I don't know.
that
I don't
rule?
know.
Interesting.
He was
Guess so
he
he
didn't
could
like
just
odd
tell who's on
numbers.
varsity by looking at the jersey.
Yeah,
Hey,
maybe
and here's one. Guess who was number 11 in high school?
You.
you.
I was. Yeah. I was number 11. In
The
football
numbers are
and
all aligning today.
yeah, stars are aligned. I think we only had even numbers in basketball. We had some stupid jerseys. So I had to be 14, I think. Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
good to see you. I'm
This-
glad that you wanted to do this with us.
Yeah. Yeah, we're so honored to have you on. It's so cool.
I tell you what, when I saw this coming, your first episode, or knowing what you and Corky were throwing out there, I mean, I'm glad you accepted an out like a traitor or whatever I guess I'm considered. But, you know,
Yeah,
in
we
the
didn't have
grand
to
scheme
compete
of things,
against you.
so I went to my freshman year at Grace. So I really went with the people down here to school for 3 years. I went to school with you guys for
Oh, okay.
9. And so
Right.
anyway,
That's what I couldn't remember is if it was after 8th grade or after freshman. So you were with us our freshman
I
year.
went to 1 year of high school in Grace. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Robert Pearson was our first. He was our second episode, and he didn't finish up at Grace either. So we're okay. We're flexible because y'all are still like part of us, you know. So
Well, I'm glad you consider
yeah.
us movaways part of it.
Absolutely.
And so we're gonna dig in. I'll start out asking the questions, and then before we get into the questions, I thought it'd be fun to quiz him on his classmates.
Oh, here we go.
He is putting me on the spot, right?
But you were not, Corky. You were in Thatcher for that second.
I was in Thatcher for the picture that's behind you. That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not in very many of the pictures that are in Nolan's background somehow. Missed the junior high one. Yeah.
So go ahead, Kevin. Let's see
Okay.
how you do on this.
The guy
Wow.
wearing number 12, that's Kevin,
That's
Yeah.
Kevin.
is he went away. How do I see it?
Oh, you can't see it?
There it is. I'm blind. Okay. Holy cow. That's Crystal in the middle, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Kathy's
Yeah.
on the Kathy's on the left. Is that Shelly next to me?
Shelly
Shelly Dexter.
I think so.
Oh, I bet you're right.
Is that
Nice
who that
call.
is?
I think that might be her.
Yeah.
The one next to me on the right.
I don't remember who
Is
that was.
that
This has to be horrifying for the people watching.
Yeah.
I want to
can't
say
tell.
Tria.
I won't
I
do
want
that
to say
either.
Tria Keller.
Okay. That could be.
Wow. So good. That
Yes.
could be. I
don't-
remember Tria now, but
probably
I didn't
who it is,
remember
yeah.
her.
And they'll
But-
correct us. They'll correct us in the Facebook group.
Yeah, they
later.
will. That's the nice
Yeah.
thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
so on the left of Kathy, get out of the way again, Nolan. I can't see it. It's too small. I'm too blind.
Uh-oh.
There we
Okay.
go.
Is that Marcy?
Got it.
Could
That's
be.
Marcy. That's
Yeah.
Marcy.
That is.
Okay.
Yeah.
The boy next to him.
Look at that face.
Next to
Oh,
her.
man.
That's David Miller.
Yeah. David Meller.
Who is it?
David Meller.
David Miller.
Holy cow. I would have never got that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Now
There's a bunch
Uh,
here.
let's see. I can't see it very well again. How do I make it big on my end so I can see?
Do you have a full screen?
I
Let
look
me
like
see.
this.
You can pin that
Okay.
picture.
Okay.
You can pin it, and that might do it.
Hey, let me go get my 8th grader to help me. Okay.
You don't have to do this now.
Oh, it's kind of fun.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
that's
can't see
on
it.
the bottom. That's got to be Toomer on the very
Yeah.
bottom. Is that
Yeah, I couldn't remember his name. It's Corey Toomer.
Corey?
Yep.
Is it Corey Toomer?
Yep. Yep.
Is that Randy next to him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Randy Kirby. George, oh, there's Dustin Smith, Dustin Young,
Yeah.
and George Gorton.
Yeah.
George, that's right. I spent the night. I spent the night at his house a couple of times.
Yeah,
George, yeah.
that's got to be Ginger above him. Is
I
that
believe
Ginger?
so. I believe so.
Right here, just right above him. Maybe I guess. I don't know.
Is that?
Yeah, if she's not somewhere else, it probably is.
Okay.
The next three, I have no idea.
Uh,
Tara Stevens, probably.
Oh, Tara's in the middle of those three girls, right?
In the red, I think.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That's Tara.
is Tara in the red?
Yeah, that's Tara.
Okay.
Next, whom
Probably.
the girl we think is Ginger. Yeah, and these next two though, I don't know.
Oh, goodness. I don't know either.
Yeah.
Which
No.
one's, there's got to be the one right in the middle in the red. That's Jane Ann, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Jane Ann.
And Chad James next to her.
Yeah.
Right.
Brooks Jensen, the other
Yep.
trader.
Yeah.
And the boy, is that Doyle?
That's Doyle
Probably.
Peck. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
And then left of Jane Ann in the green.
That is. Do you know Nolan?
I don't.
I don't know who that is.
Is it David Shaw? No.
David's got to be in there somewhere. Is he on crutches?
Well, but you had two classes, right? Probably.
I don't know. I
I
can't
don't know if
remember.
we might have had two. Dave Shaw would be here somewhere. We could have been in a different class. Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know who that guy is. That's
There were
not Dave
kids
Shaw
that
though.
moved away that we don't really
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah.
so yeah, we
Holy
didn't do
cow.
very well on this one.
Well,
I did.
that's Laurie next. I think that's Laurie
Could be.
next to the kid in the green in between the two boys whom I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
Got-
we failed.
3 out of 4, 3 out of 5.
Oh
Okay.
my goodness.
And maybe others we can, others will help us out.
Yeah,
That was a good activity.
that was
No.
fun.
Put me on the
And-
spot.
Yep, we like to put you on
Put
the
us
spot.
all on the spot.
Okay, so tell us, where do you live right now?
Right now, we are in Smithfield, Utah.
No way.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we're in Smithfield. We've been here. Well, this will be about year 16.
Okay. I didn't know
Yeah.
you lived in
Smithfield.
Smithfield all that
We,
time.
we came back to Cache Valley. We lived in my parents' house while they were on a mission for a little bit while our house here that we're in was being finished. So we've been in Cache Valley about 16 years, in this house we moved in 2 days after Christmas.
Oh, wow. And so,
So-
whereabouts in Smithfield? This is inside baseball, but we're going to do it.
We're out in Smithfield.
Yeah.
Do you know where Skyview is?
Yep.
So we're just up above Skyview. So
Okay,
you're
up on the
across
bench.
Skyview every day. to
Okay.
get to- you know where SV Hill is?
Mhm.
I think
Remember
so.
SV
Yeah.
Hill? It's
Yeah.
we're pretty close to the SV Hill up
Okay.
on the east side of Smithfield. Yeah.
Okay. When you said being built, I figured it was probably up on the bench. It's where
Yeah,
most
it
of the
was-
buildings happen in there, but
We,
That's awesome.
we were house 2 up here in this subdivision, and now there's, holy cow, I don't know. It's gone crazy, but
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
Awesome.
ask you a question later about do you know?
okay.
Well, we'll get to that later.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. We might come back to Smithfield. Yeah, my mom grew up there.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
That park that's right
By the
2
golf-
blocks from the Smithfield Imp.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Implement.
Uh-huh.
It's like right behind it, 2 blocks down.
To the
Right
west.
across the street is like an old mansion looking thing, and it's run down now, but that's where she grew up.
That's where your mom grew up.
That's where my mom grew
Your
up.
mom lived in a mansion?
Nah, it's an old house. We called it a mansion. It felt like that when we were young.
Yeah, I remember that game that you would write MASH and then you'd do this circle thing. Mansion.
Mansion. That's right. Mansion.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
The old
Yeah.
mansion somewhere.
There it is. All right.
So right across from that park, there's a splash pad and stuff, all kinds. It's
Yep.
on the little park and stuff now. So
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. That stuff wasn't there back in the day.
yeah,
Yeah. We played ball in that park though. Football
Yeah.
and baseball.
And what do you do? Tell everybody what you do for a living.
I got into education, so I'm starting my 29th year of being in education. So I started teaching. My major was health, and I had a minor in PE, and so I taught and coached for years.
Mhm.
But I was a head basketball coach for about 23 years. Right now, about 8 years ago, the high school I graduated from. So when we moved from Grace, I
Mountain
went
Crest.
to Mountain Crest High School out in Hiram and graduated from there. And I'm the athletic director out there.
Oh, okay. So you drive
So
through Logan every day to get to work.
I drive past 4 high schools to get to the one that I work at. And so a few years ago, Mountain Crest split and made a new school on the
Oh,
south end out in Millville. And that AD went to the new school, and I became the athletic director and been there. This will be year 9.
okay.
They made it a full-time, so I don't teach. It's just full-time
Just running athletics.
athletic director. Yeah.
It's probably
That's
a full-time
crazy.
job, yeah.
It's
Press
not,
conferences and
it- it-
stuff like that, huh?
it's not a
Hiring,
bad,
firing.
it's not a bad gig. That part is not the funnest. I've been involved in, I think 2 of those so far, which isn't bad, but I think we just put new banners in our gym. We hunt 25,
Oh, wow.
we have 25 sports at Mountain Crest.
25.
It's
I don't know if
crazy.
I could name 25 sports.
I'm not sure I can.
And my wife wants me institutionalized for sports watching. So that's a lot of sports.
We're just in the
Wow.
last few years.
Breakdancing is a sport.
What's that?
Breakdancing is now a sport.
Yeah.
In the spirit of Olympics, can we name obscure sports?
And not this coming January, but the next January, they're bringing on gaming.
Oh, yeah.
Going to be
That's so big.
Oh, it's very big. It's
That's
going
one
to
of
be
the best scholarships out there right now.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Gaming?
bringing on gaming, like video games.
Yeah.
It's going to
Yeah.
be a sanctioned activity through the High School Activities Association.
That's
So,
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying, we have a gaming club now and they're trying to make it intercollegiate.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you used to
Here.
discourage your kids from like, get off those video games. And
No.
now it's gonna be like, you need to practice. Get on that game.
There's too much. Yeah. I don't want to play video games, Dad.
You
Yeah.
come inside this house right now and get on those games.
Universe, you win. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's wild. Do they already have it in other schools in Utah? Or
Yeah, some it's like a club. It's more
Yeah.
like club level. But yes, there's some that have it. We don't, but we will here in the
You're
next
bringing it online. That's
year and a
awesome.
half. So
Tell us about your family.
Rochelle's my wife. She actually graduated from Mount Crest as well.
Mhm.
We knew each other in high school, had several classes together, pretty good friends. Never
Obviously.
dated or
Oh,
anything
yeah.
in high school. We've been married. It's now 32 years we've been married. So she is bless her soul. She's the coach's widow. I mean,
Yeah.
she has been on a lot of yellow buses, sat in a lot of gyms and that kind of stuff. So so she's from down, she kind of moved around as a kid, but she ended up graduating from Mountain Crest.
Let's think about that for a second. So when she's at the game and everyone's yelling at the coach,
Yeah, I was gonna ask that same question. How does she like turn around and tell them what they should be thinking instead?
There's been one time where she couldn't, and it was pretty early on in my career, she couldn't hold back and turned around and got into it.
Let them have it.
wow,
with some
And then
fans.
felt awful afterward, I'm guessing,
Yeah.
and vowed never to do
think how
that
he does it
again.
with it.
But it's and I go to all our coaches now. I always just thank their spouses because
Yeah.
it's so true. They sit there in the stands and listen to things, people that think they can do better and whatever, but it's kind of a thankless job.
And it's the time, right? It's the
Yeah.
time. So much time. I remember Coach Smith told me, I think it was Coach Smith, he told me that one year he counted up when he was a head football coach, he counted up what the stipend was and how many hours he spent.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, it was like 12 cents an hour. And he said, I never counted up ever again after that.
Yeah. That just discourage you from ever doing it again. So
Yeah, it's
you
done out of
don't-
love. It's crazy.
you don't do it for the money, I'll tell you that. But
Yeah.
so we got married 32 years ago in May. We have six children.
Mhm.
Taylor's my oldest daughter. She's 31. And Nolan,
Mm-hmm.
can I chime in here, Nolan?
Yeah.
Nolan actually met my oldest daughter.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
She served a mission in the McAllen, Texas mission
Oh,
and
wow.
served in Corpus Christi.
Mm-hmm.
And one
That's
day I
cool.
got a message from Nolan about, anyway, so
Your
Nolan's
daughter's
my
doing
oldest
well, and
daughter.
she's great. That's
Oh,
probably
wow.
why
That must
that's
have been just a few years after I left then.
yeah.
About 5 years, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I lived in Corpus as well.
Yeah. So she's married. She's 31. She's going to have her first
Oh, good.
child next month.
Nice.
So
That's
we're
awesome.
excited for her, 31. My next one's a boy, Daxton. His wife just had her second baby today.
Oh, wow. Today.
We've
Oh,
got
And you're talking to us.
You're here?
I'm doubly honored.
You
Uh,
could have
we've got
canceled.
grandson number 2 came today. So my oldest boy and his wife have 2 boys, a 2-year-old,
awesome.
and he was born this morning at 4:42. So
Oh, wow.
Oh,
That's
congratulations.
awesome.
he
Tell
They're
us-
locally? Do they live local?
yeah. So Taylor, my oldest daughter, just lives out in Providence
Okay.
on the south end of the valley. And Jackson and his wife live just by Skyview. So like 3 minutes
Down the road.
down the road from us,
Mhm.
So
which is
awesome.
great. We become the sitters quite often.
Yeah,
So,
the very
awesome.
willing
yeah.
backup parents. Yeah.
Yeah. He's 28. And my third is a girl. Her name is Rakesia. She's 24. She still lives here. She moved out for a bit. She has a few health issues, and she's pretty much lives in our basement and does that. She's 24. I've got a boy who's my fourth one is Quade. He's 19, but he's kind of like me. He's the oldest. He just graduated. So he graduated from Skyview.
Okay.
He's 19, is probably gonna stay here and go to Utah State. He's a volleyball player. So Utah just sanctioned boys volleyball. This was the first year,
Oh, wow.
but he's played a lot of volleyball, and he had a chance to go play back in Kansas, but I think he's decided just to stay here and go to school and get on with life.
Does Skyview have boys volleyball then? They must.
Yep.
Okay.
All the schools
And you
here-
do. Okay.
Yeah, all the
Wow.
schools in the valley
That's
have it.
impressive.
It's
And one of the
it's-
25.
Boys volleyball is huge in Utah.
Yeah.
It took off. It got pretty big pretty fast. And
How
so
about that?
this was the first year that it was sanctioned. And boys volleyball is fun to watch. It's
Yeah, it moves fast.
So
yeah, it's fun.
side note, the first time I saw Marcia, my wife was at a BYU men's volleyball game.
Oh, really?
All right.
We
All
always
right.
have volleyball.
And then my fifth, he's going to be a sophomore. His name is Chasden. Call him Chaz a lot of mostly, but he's going to be a sophomore. So he's 15. And then my baby is 13, going to be an 8th grader. So I go from 31 to 13.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good
Last
span.
year, 17 years. I used to say we had one in the mission field and one in the nursery. So
Wow.
last year when he started 7th grade, it was the first time in 25 years that my wife and I hadn't had a child in elementary school.
Okay. Wow. That's a
I'm too old,
milestone.
but I'm too old to be having an 8th grader, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You forgot to tell us the baby's name.
Trayson.
Huh?
Trayson.
Trayson.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Kevin, your kids have some names that are not common. Tell us
We're kind of
maybe
weird.
not all of them, but maybe tell us one of them. How did you come up with
Oh, if you're gonna choose, I'll recommend Rakesia. Tell us about Rakesia.
It's funny now because when people ask Rakesia her name, she automatically says her name and then automatically just starts spelling it. Because no one knows how to pronounce
Muscle
it.
memory.
So it was crazy. We knew we were going to have a baby. We were looking for names, and we were watching Forrest Gump one time, and something in the credits, I can't remember what name, ran across the credits, and we paused it, and it started with that, but then it just evolved. I came home one day I think I was coaching softball at the time in Bear Lake. I came home and it was on the fridge, Rakesia Ariel.
And that was the
wife's like,
name.
this is our name.
How about
Ariel's
that?
my mom's dad, so my grandpa, who he died when my mom was 2, so no one really knew. And his name is Ariel.
Oh, wow.
Little Mermaid was popular at the time, so we didn't want to do Ariel. So
Yeah.
Asia Ariel
Okay.
is where her name came from.
Okay. Yeah. I'd be like, Ariel's a family name. Yeah, sure it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Awesome. That's cool.
Was Ariel your grandpa from Grace area or from somewhere else?
Yeah,
Yes.
from Grace, because both mom and dad are from that way, and
What was their last name?
Olson.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Here's a Grace connection. So my boy, Jackson, who had their baby today, they named him after my mom. So her maiden name is Olson. They named him Olson.
Oh, wow.
Olson Andersen, and they're trying to decide if it's going to be Ollie for short or Ole for short.
Yeah. Okay.
They're disagreeing that, but so a Grace connection named after my mom, who's from Grace.
What that? I have some
Well-
Olsons in my family.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, I had a cousin. His nickname played for, I don't remember who he played for, but he was Chris's age, and his nickname was Ole.
Ole.
Yeah, Ole.
Well, they went with Ole.
Yeah.
His wife wants to do Ole. Jackson likes Ollie, so
Ole. Yeah.
we'll see who wins.
All right.
What would be cool
I
too
bet
is
it's gonna be Ole if I had to.
If he's smart.
Yes.
If I taught him anything at all, it's gonna be Ole.
And then if the middle name was also ends with SON, that would be like amazing.
Oh yeah.
Olsen, Mickelson, Anderson, or something like that.
That's boring.
Mickelson.
Poor
He's,
kid.
he's making a push for Mickelson. Did you hear how he slipped that in?
I
There
could
are
think
enough Mickelsons.
Nelson then. Olsen, Anderson.
So are both Olson and Anderson EN?
Yes. Yeah. So
Okay.
we're both the ends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pets. Do you have any pets? Your mom.
Oh, yes, we do.
There we go. Six
So-
pets, 17 years apart.
And
Bam.
and you've got help. You guys got to help me with something.
Okay.
So Jackson, when he graduated, he went and played college ball at Snow, came home, got a dog, got a boxer.
Okay.
Like, well, what are you going to do with him when you leave? You can't like,
He's a
well,
big
I'll find a
dog.
place where he can live. Blah, blah, blah. Well,
And he did.
Your house.
our place. He got married. He tried to take him with him, but hated it. They didn't have a fenced yard. Brought him back to us, and so we've had Ned.
Ned.
And
It's a great dog,
I want to talk about. Do you guys remember the program reading that we used to do in elementary? You had the little slider. You
Mhm.
slide down the page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I swear, there's a character. I think it was the boy in the stories. His name was Ned.
You've got a good memory.
Yeah. That's a
Does
great
that ring a
memory.
bell with anyone? I swear I always
Oh.
tell my kids it makes me think of when I was learning to read in elementary school.
I think it sounds like you were reading for retention. Corky was just reading to be the fastest one in the class.
To get the most little prizes
Right.
or whatever they were. Yeah.
I probably just slid the slide down and cheated a little bit so I could get the answers.
You know, Kirsten might know. Maybe Kirsten knows. Maybe that
She would
curriculum
probably
was
know.
still around.
Again, the Facebook group will tell us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we might get an answer to that.
They're quick to
Ned.
correct us on stuff, and that's good.
Yeah.
We need to be
That-
corrected on stuff.
That
Ned
name
was a
tracks.
boxer. What's that?
That name tracks for like a learning, for a reading
Yeah.
material, doesn't Ned?
So
Yeah.
Ned is our boxer, and then we've got a little Maltese poodle, and my boy Chasden named him. His name is Pocket.
Pocket.
Pocket. Who names a kid Pocket? Who names a dog Pocket?
Pocket poodle.
And we yeah. Oh, we had to medicate him. He was a little. We
Little
go.
wild rambunctious.
This one I knew nothing about. I think I was on a trip. We went to a tournament, came home, and all of a sudden we had 2 dogs instead of 1. But my wife and Chaz go to pick out a dog, and all these puppies in the corner, all playing around with each other. There's one loner that's over there all by himself. Well, guess which one my boy picked?
Mhm.
The little loner out there that doesn't know how to play with anyone. And
That's why they call it a rescue, I suppose.
yeah,
Go
but
all
it's
in.
great.
Go
Yeah.
big or go home.
Yeah. And then my daughter, Rakesia, has a dog, and her name is Lemon.
Okay.
So we have a Lemon,
Lemon,
Pocket
Pocket,
and
and Ned.
Ned.
and Lemon is a little mix between a Pomeranian and a Chihuahua.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Did
Just
they
a
call
little
it
thing.
a gym dog?
If I stepped on her, she'd be gone.
Little
So
dog. So you got a
those,
big boxer that could eat them as a snack, huh?
yeah, but he's the nicest thing he never would.
Like a
So
little puppy, huh?
Pocket might try to eat Ned, but Ned
Oh.
wouldn't try to eat Pocket.
You graduated from Mountain Crest. What did you do right after? You know what? Let's go back a little bit. With you, let's go back to when you left
Okay,
Grace after your
freshman year.
freshman year. How was that moving to Mountain Crest?
When mom and dad first told me that we were moving, I hated it. I did not want to move. Like
Yeah.
I probably threw a little bit of a temper tantrum, and I did not. I mean, our whole family was like all my brothers and my sister and aunts and uncles and everyone's in Grace for
Yeah.
my family, and I did not want to leave Grace. I'll stay here and live with Grandpa. I'll live with Grandpa, and I remember Dad bringing me down. We went looking for homes, and I didn't want to move. And
Hmm.
you know, how big was Grace at the time? 250 kids, somewhere around there,
Yeah.
probably our
Yeah.
freshman year.
Our class was 53,
50 something.
55, right in there. So I think it was like right around 200,
200,
maybe
200.
180 even. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our class was the biggest one though, so
Okay. And so when we moved down, Mount Crest was about 1,600 students.
yeah.
And so I went from
Yeah.
200 kids to 1,600, and oh my goodness, I was just shell shocked from the
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that would be shocking. Yeah.
yeah.
Felt kind of lost.
Yeah, like it was just oh, but once I got here and got into things, we moved into a little town out in the west of the valley called Mendon. My
Mhm.
parents are still there, and just a lot like Grace, just a small little,
Farming.
yeah, just a smaller community, no stores. Like, well, there was a store when we moved in, no stores now or anything, but just a small little town. And I got into with the couple kids out there. One of those kids ended up being like my best man at my wedding and stuff like that. So we really hit it off, and that really helped. And so it ended up being great. I had a great experience down here.
Yeah.
But it's still, like I said earlier, I basically went to school with these people down here for 3 years, where I was up there in Grace for 15, almost 16 years. And so it was different. But it ended up being a great experience.
Well, obviously you met your wife there, but
Yeah.
tell us a little. I mean, for you, it's a little different. Let's hear about your high school athletic experience, because, like Corky said, a bunch of us came down for one of your games. Tell us some of that.
It ended up being pretty good. So I moved in as a sophomore. I remember before we moved down, I came down, my orthodontist was down in Logan. And my sister, the oldest in the family, was living in Logan, working there. I came down to go to the orthodontist, went to see her at work. She knew one of the kids' mom, and they were actually having open gym. They were going to be playing some ball. They call it open gym during about the same time as my orthodontist appointment. So I skipped the orthodontist appointment. We got priorities, baby. Straight teeth or play ball. I'm going for playing ball.
Yeah.
So my sister took me out to Mountain Crest, and I jumped in, took my shirt off, had my Levi's on, and I'm sitting there playing basketball with these kids from Mountain Crest. That was my first experience of playing anything at Mountain Crest. But I played basketball and football. Sophomore year, down here's a little different. We have 4 teams. We have a freshman, a sophomore, and a JV, and a varsity basketball. So it's an unlimited number of quarters. So you can play, you can play all kinds of minutes.
Wow.
So
You just they mix and match them, huh?
yeah. And back in the day, back when I was playing, JV or freshman and sophomore played on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and varsity and JV played Wednesdays and Fridays. So there were some weeks I practiced one day, and the other day I was playing. I was
4
playing.
nights a week.
It was awesome. And uh, so basketball, it was pretty good. I was able to play. I got some varsity time as a sophomore, and then we won our region my junior year, senior year. We took second in state my junior year. Got beat in the championship by Timpview. They were good. Football, my sophomore year played. My junior year, I played. I ended up being the quarterback, and we actually won state. So my junior year was pretty fun.
Wow,
I
I
was
bet.
title
That
in
sounds
football
fun.
and a runner-up in basketball.
That
And the
sounds,
football game,
I
the
think that's
football
when
game
we came
was-
down there our junior
what's
year.
that?
I think a bunch of
Yeah.
us came down our junior year, your junior year, to watch
Yeah.
your football
Yeah.
game.
that sounds right.
We had a great experience. My junior year when we won state in football, at that point there was Skyview on the north end of Cache Valley, Mountain Crest on the south, and Logan in the middle.
Right, yeah.
Us and Skyview ended up playing for the state title.
Wow.
And so it was supposed to be at the U of U, but they moved it to Romney Stadium.
Yeah.
There was about 21,000 people at the game.
How about that?
It was pretty awesome. And we beat them 9-7, kind of a boring.
Little slugfest. Was that what do you got? 3 field goals, you got a touchdown, a safety, an extra point.
We scored a touchdown, missed the extra point. We kicked off. They ran it back for a touchdown, made the extra point. So it's 7-6. I think
7-6.
that was all in the first quarter. With late in the fourth quarter, we kicked like a 35-yard field goal or so to win 9-7.
How about that?
So
Very
A
cool.
lot of people know about your accident.
Yeah.
Maybe some don't. Do you want to talk about that at all, or you'd rather not talk about that?
I can talk. Yeah, I don't like to watch it, but I can talk about it. Yeah, that was, it was just a weird freak thing. Those who don't know, that was my senior year of high school. We were playing at the state tournament at BYU. They'd actually moved the state. It was usually at Weber State. They moved it to BYU that year, and we got beat the game before. Remember Randy Reed?
I do. Randy and Ruby.
Played.
Yeah.
Randy and Robbie Reed played for BYU, and
Yep.
what was his dad's name?
Roger.
Roger.
He did camps all over Southern Idaho. I went to his basketball camps.
Yeah.
Roger Reed basketball camp. Yeah.
So Randy and Robbie they played for Spanish Fork, and that's who beat us.
They were good.
They were really good.
Yeah.
Robbie was a great
Scored-
shooter.
I think we were high 80s, and I think we got beat by 20.
Oh my word.
My coach didn't believe a lot in defense, baby. So we got beat the second game of state, but then back in those days, you played
around.
consolation. So
Yeah.
the next game we were playing Pineview. I still remember 1 second left in the third quarter, inbounds play. The horn rings, and the guy that was coming in for us always came in for me. So I start headed to the bench. My coach waves me back on. He was coming in for someone else.
Mhm.
1 second in the third quarter, it's got to be something quick, right? So they're in a line, and so they lob it up, and he and I go up. They're a big kid gun, and I came down on kind of a bad ankle, and I end up falling backwards, and he fell forward. Basically caught my head right in his crotch area and just fell over the top of me and just crushed the vertebrae in my third, between 3 and 4, or it was crushed. And there's some pretty miraculous. The first thing I did, so I was sitting down, right? So he fell over top of me. My feet are out in front of me. Before I do anything, I grab my cheeks with my fist. I grab my head, and I roll to my stomach. So I'm laying on the gym floor face down for about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Because there was a trainer there, a student trainer, who wouldn't let people move me.
Yeah.
The security guards were like, well, let's just move him off to the end and we'll keep the game going.
Yeah.
And so, it didn't take long. My mom and dad weren't ones. They stayed in the stands, and then they realized, okay, something's not quite right. I never lost feeling in any legs or anything. I was moving. They scooped me up off the floor, put me in the ambulance. We're leaving the tunnel from the BYU, from the Marriott Center. This is how lucky I am, guys. The ambulance quits. The ambulance dies. So we have to coast back down the ramp.
I've never heard of that.
To get it to start and finally get out, get to the hospital. I'm in ICU, and my family and everyone's still in there. They come in, do x-rays, and I'll never forget when they the nurse, the medical people came back in, and they said to the people in there, they said, don't bump that bed. Because they soon realized after doing the x-rays that it was a little more serious than what people thought. And anyway, so I was in the hospital for about 8 or 9 days. After I was in ICU for 3 days, I think. They did some surgery. They fused my neck. They went in through the front, put a bone in, fused. I have some wire in my neck, and but some pretty cool stories came from that whole accident.
Yeah.
I tell you, I'll tell you another about.
Go ahead. This is your episode.
Last August. So this student trainer, he was just a student. He was finishing up his school. He was supposed to go to a meeting, but decided to skip that meeting and stayed at the game. His name was Mike Folsom. So we kind of stayed in touch. He came to my wedding and stuff like that. I mean, he basically saved me from at least being paralyzed from neck down to even worse. But
Nolan would say that he stuck his neck out for you.
Yeah. So I get this text last August, about a year ago, and I get a text from this random number they're like, I'm looking for a Kevin Andersen who played for Mountain Crest, suffered a neck injury, blah, blah, blah. This is Carrie Folsom. Well, it's the wife of the trainer.
Oh, wow.
So I immediately hurry up and call her back. Well, we get talking. And last I heard, he was back in Georgia somewhere. Then we kind of lost track of each other. But she calls me and we get talking, and he had died. He got Alzheimer's like at 57.
Oh my goodness.
And died really young, but he donated his body to the U of U for science. And she's like, we just got his ashes back. And she's like, my grandparent or my grandkids and my kids have grown up hearing the story about how their dad and grandpa saved this kid's life at a basketball game. She's like, is there any way you could come to his little viewing we're going to have at the cemetery when they got the ashes back?
Wow.
And my first thought was Georgia. But they had actually moved back to Provo, so she could have help with him. So about a year ago, almost a year to the day, I went down to this little graveside ceremony of this Mike Folsom, who was the trainer. I walked up, and it was just so cool. Like, we just embraced, and it was quite the experience. And then Carrie, the wife's like, yeah, we've got all the video, we got all the highlights from the news, and we want you to come back to the luncheon and talk. I'm like, but it was so cool. Like, it was so cool.
It was meaningful.
Kids, it was incredible. Like, it was quite the ordeal about here.
That's really cool. Yeah, because you were sort of walking reminder of the kind of dude their dad was and grandpa. Yeah. I think that's really cool.
And he was a great guy, and like he received recognition from the governor and all this stuff because really, I've really had no signs of being that serious. But yeah, man, once they did the x-rays and stuff, I'm forever indebted. Like, he saved me. So
that's awesome.
Anyway.
Excellent.
Kind of a long story. Sorry.
No, thanks for sharing that. That's awesome.
I want to ask one more quick thing, and then we'll let you finish telling us what you did after high school. But did you have a chance to play college sports, or did you play college sports?
I did not play college.
Because of the injury?
I was being recruited a little bit.
Okay.
But then when I broke my neck, and I remember being in the hospital thinking, you know what? I was like I think last episode you guys were making fun of how old I look compared to some of you other guys when
oh, Shelly.
when you're interviewing Shelly, I did look old, man, in that picture she held up. But that was in February, and I graduated in May, went on a mission in October, came home, thought about maybe trying a little bit, but I came home. I went and visited Rochelle, my wife, because we were friends in high school. Went to her house and visited her, and we did something for like the next 3 weeks straight, and just got on with life. Got married, and I ended up at Utah State as an athletic trainer.
Oh,
After this
okay.
whole experience with
Oh, wow.
the trainer that saved my life, I kind of I was kind of thinking physical therapy, but then when this happened to me and all this, I wanted to be a trainer. That's what I wanted to do. And the head trainer at Utah State kind of took my accident and ran with it. Like we all have trainers in our high schools now in Utah. And the head trainer at Utah State, Dale Mildenberger at the time, took my accident and ran with it. And that spearheaded getting trainers in high schools. I went to Utah State as an athletic trainer on scholarship there. Um, but back that many years ago, you didn't get a degree in it. You had to have so many hours and then just pass a test to become a certified trainer.
Hmm.
Well, he always encouraged us to get a degree in education because he saw where this was going. There's going to be trainers in high school, so you could go to high school level and teach and be a trainer. And so that's what I was doing. And then my old high school coach called me my junior year and asked me to help with the sophomore team a little bit. And the next year he called me and said, come and be my varsity assistant. And I told my wife my senior year of college, I said, if I like this student teaching thing, I think I'm going to go teaching and coaching rather than the training.
Hmm.
And I student taught down here in Cache Valley and loved it and loved the coaching. And so I jumped ship from athletic training and went into the coaching and teaching world. And I'll never forget when I came home and told my mom, I don't know if you guys remember, my mom was at the secretary at Grace High School for years.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
I came home and told her, I said, well, Mom, I think I'm going to be a teacher and a coach. And she said to me, oh, Kevin, I thought you were smarter than that. I think she saw all those years of what coaches went through at the
Yeah.
high school level.
How
But
about that?
that's kind of how I got into the teaching and coaching
Yeah.
world.
And your dad was a good coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Nolan. This was either you or Dean. I can't remember.
Okay. We
One
were
of
on the
you-
fourth grade team with you, yeah.
You used to do hook shots. One of you used to.
Probably him.
I
Yeah. From the
I-
outside, he would do.
yes, from like way out there.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? But they
Yeah.
like he would throw these hook shots and they would go in. Was
My-
that Dean or you?
It was him, I think, because my job I took personally was to stop the other person. So I made the fourth grade all-star team because of my defense.
Hey, we got to have
Awesome.
some defenders.
Because I didn't score ever, because Kevin scored all our points.
Remember,
You guys were what color were you that year?
Orange.
were we orange?
We were the orange team.
Okay.
We played Bancroft and we beat them 64-4 or something. Kevin scored most of the points.
Remember that? I've been thinking about the old Little League days, man.
Yeah. Well, I
Little
remember
League
your dad
basketball.
coached your team,
Yeah,
and he always picked John Call.
yeah,
Remember John Call? He was good.
yeah.
He was good. Lefty. He was a lefty. We were like the two of the only lefties with Dave,
Yeah.
and so I always remember John. But we couldn't beat you. You guys won every year. We couldn't beat you.
Yeah. I kind of wish my dad would have got into coaching, like he didn't. And we always tell him, you should have been a coach and all this, but he believed in the fundamentals, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
So we know what's going on, but you tell our audience about our coach in basketball when we were seniors, Mike Hansen. And how did you build a relationship with Mike Hansen?
Coach Hansen, Mike Hansen, I love that guy. Like and I didn't put this together till probably about 10 years or so ago. When I was coaching at Bear Lake, he was an assistant basketball coach in Preston.
Okay.
That's where we first crossed paths. And we didn't really know each other that great. We coached against each other and that thing. But then when I came back to the Valley for a job, I got out of coaching for a couple years. And then my boy was going to Logan High at the time, and the girls' basketball job opened up at Logan High. And someone reached out to me and like, would you ever coach girls? My boy was going to Logan High, and I'm like, I don't want to coach girls.
We'll edit that.
But it was the 3 funnest years of coaching basketball in my career. I absolutely loved coaching the girls. And Mike was the athletic director at Logan High.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't the athletic director that hired me, but the year after, that athletic director left and Mike became the AD. And that's where we really first got to know each other and really became friends. And now, a few years back, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, I was in St. George at the athletic directors conference, and he calls me and he's like, "Hey, I think I have a chance to leave Logan High and go to the new high school, the Ridgeline High School. That's the school that split off from Mountain Crest." He's like, "What do you think? Should I?" And so we visited quite a bit. And so now he's at Ridgeline. So he's an AD at Ridgeline. I'm the AD at Mountain Crest. We're
Nice.
like 2 or 3 minutes apart from each other. So we are in meetings together all the time and always calling, always texting. He's a great guy. He's just thoughtful. Like he does things that you think, "Oh, why didn't I think of doing that for my coaches or individuals or whatever?" So he always says he's mad at me because I left and
You left Logan.
he could have coached me.
I'll tell you a funny one about him. So when he came, it was our senior year, right?
Yeah.
And I was in one of his classes, and I'd always been the manager, right? So he came in, and by then I had grown from like, I was probably like 5'4" when I was a sophomore, and then I was probably like 5'11" when he came.
Yeah, you were tall.
He's like, "Mickelson, you don't play basketball?" I'm like, "No, are you kidding me?" I said, "I haven't played since like sixth grade. I was always too little to make the team, right?" He's like, "Oh, but you got the body for basketball." I'm like, no, I'll be the manager. I'm fine with that.
So he came your guys' senior year.
Yeah.
So-
he was our basketball coach.
So Coach Lowe was there my freshman year. That's who
Yep.
coached. Did he leave? When did you guys have Coach Lowe and then who?
Kelsey was
junior
but
year,
I
Alan
don't remember
Kelsey.
who it would have been.
Sophomore year, I've been trying to think of who coached the varsity sophomore year. I can't remember. We
No,
should
it was
ask
someone else.
Scott.
I know it was someone else because like that class that would have been like Mike Holtz and Danny Rasmussen and stuff. They had a different basketball coach.
That year was a weird year for boys sports in Grace, that sophomore year, because the football team, we weren't very good. They didn't have very many seniors. I played JV, but I think Coach Bitten coached football that year.
He did.
That's what I remember. And then basketball is just a void. I was on the JV team, but Dave Shaw, Scott Rigby, and maybe one other person split time between JV and varsity, and I don't remember who the coach was.
Coach Kelsey coached 2 years.
No, he coached one.
He only coached one.
Just one.
So that because means Coach Lowe only would have coached 1 year.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Our freshman year, he would have been there.
Yeah.
Because it was Coach Jolly before Coach Lowe, because that's who my
Coach Jolly. I
brother
remember
played
him
for when they
we were in sixth grade when your brother Craig, they made it to the championship game of state. I remember they played like a 4 quarters.
Yeah, they called it San Francisco.
Yeah, it was crazy. They would hold the ball for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes at a quarter.
So now we have the shot clock, right? Do you have a shot clock? You do have a shot clock in Idaho.
Montana just started with high school shot clock last year, I think.
Okay, so when I became the AD at Mountain Crest, I went out and was the AD and girls basketball coach. I did that for a couple of years, and then our boys coach left, and we had no teaching openings or whatever. So I swung back over to the boys, and my assistant for the girls took over the girls program. But Skyview out here and girls were loaded. They beat us the first time we played by like 45 points. And I'm like, I'm not sure we can beat them, but I'm not going to lose by freaking 40 points again.
Let the air out of the ball.
So true story. We're down 7 at halftime, and I'm thinking, God, we might as well go home. This is like a win.
Moral victory.
We got the ball at halftime in the third quarter. We crossed half court. They were sitting in a zone, and my point guard sat there and dribbled the ball. I told her to pick it up. She made a pass. They passed it back to her, and we held it the entire third quarter.
That's insane.
We shot the ball too early. we shot the ball a little bit too early because we shot it with like 9 seconds. They got the rebound, went down and hit a shot. There were 2 shots taken in the whole third quarter.
Oh,
We
wow.
were down 9 to start the fourth quarter.
So
But then
you're
it
the
was
coach. I thought it was always Coach Riley that ruined basketball, but it was you that ruined basketball.
it was. Well, I tell you what, I ruined it in Cashville. Oh,
The
I had
origin
people,
story of the shot clock in Utah
Your
athletics.
wife was probably like this in the crowd.
Oh, I had bad people at me. We sat there the whole. Well,
Wow.
I thought for sure they'd come out. They're
Well, yeah.
just sit. I told the girls at halftime they're not going to sit in that zone. They're going to come out because their goal was to score 70 points a game. Well, they weren't even close to 70. I'm like, they're going to come out pressures. They didn't. We stood there and held the ball.
Now, what do you think as a coach? If you're on the other side, what was that about? That not coming out? Because I would send my team too.
They had the lead.
Not letting you dictate the game.
I guess I'm like, we got a 7-point lead. We're going to win if you
We're
don't shoot the
good.
ball.
Yeah, they have to. I remember your dad always used to say, if the other team never scores, you can't lose. He would say that. All you have to have is one basket if the other
Oh.
team never scores.
That's why I
Yeah,
made the fourth grade All-Star game.
That's right.
I convinced the girls that, look, if we can keep it close in the fourth quarter, maybe we have a
You have a
chance.
chance.
Now,
Yeah.
here's the thing. That one shot we took was a 3-pointer. If that sucker goes in, it's a 4-point game
Right.
in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I'd have looked like a genius, but instead like a freaking idiot.
So that may have been your worst. No, well, probably not your worst. Was that your worst situation, or did you have worse? We don't want to get into that. How about your best? Tell us about your best experience as a coach.
Well, you won a state championship as a coach, didn't you?
Not as a coach.
Not as a
no.
coach? Oh, okay.
No, not as a coach. I never did.
Did you have a player that you coached that went on to do really well in college and stuff?
I coached, he was a sophomore at the time. Remember, Jalen Moore played for Utah State
Name
I think
sounds
so.
familiar.
when Jalen was a sophomore. That's when I was at Skyview.
Okay.
I had some players go on and play smaller, like I had a kid from Ogden that went and played some small ball.
Hmm.
I can't remember. Geez, I can't. I'd have to think about that one.
Hmm. Well, here's a connection. Your kids, I think he's the principal. My cousin, Shane Jones.
Oh, Shane, your cousin?
Yeah, our moms are sisters. Yeah.
So I was his
That
assistant.
explains a lot, huh?
I was Shane's assistant softball coach for 1 year when I was at Sky.
Oh, cool.
And now he's the principal at Skyview.
Yeah. Yeah,
and,
that's what
and
I
I'm
thought.
at ID, and so we're in meetings all the time. I know Shane very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was my daughter's volleyball coach.
Oh, okay.
My
How about
oldest
that?
daughter played at Skyview, and Shane was the coach.
Cool. Yeah.
Shane's a good guy.
He is. He's a great guy. I like
So my turn. Do you know Connie Mickelson?
Okay, yes.
She did something with NFL 60 or something in
No,
Skyview. That's my oldest sister. She lives in Smithfield.
there's also Mickelson that Shauna, Chad's sister. Who's
Shauna
Chad's?
Kirby? Shauna Kirby, maybe
Oh, Mickelson. Yeah, sorry, different,
someone
but
else. Yeah.
someone else. But Shauna Kirby
Okay.
lives in
From there.
her daughter played girls lacrosse at Mountain Crest.
Oh,
Shauna
cool.
was always the one doing the tables and stuff for us at
Mm,
lacrosse.
I see.
Connie, yes.
Connie Mickelson.
Yes, I knew this.
She's retired now.
She's older. Yes, Connie was the district like PE liaison when
Right.
I was, yes, I see Connie still walking.
Do you?
She walks up
She
6
plays
South there.
golf.
Yeah, I do know Connie.
That's my oldest sister. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I-
So
I think now you said Connie and I have talked about you. We're not going to tell you what we said because it
yeah,
wasn't.
that's okay.
We
It'll
won't.
come out in the episode. So.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're done with section 1.
Yeah, we're moving right along. So
Yeah, right along. It's been an
here we go.
hour.
So we'll get through these.
My goal is
um,
to beat Brett
Brett.
Keller's time.
We're
We'll
on our
see.
way to doing it. All right, here we go. Favorite food and beverage.
I'm still kind of a shrimp guy, fried shrimp.
Oh, all right.
Like I like shrimp. That's what our Christmas Eve dinner. It's our New Year's dinner with my parents and everyone. It's always shrimp.
Hmm.
And we do, but we make it ourselves. We have to,
Oh, you
we
bread it and
we
everything.
bread it and everything. It's
Hmm.
good
Okay.
stuff. You throw a steak on there with it or chicken cordon bleu. It's
Oh,
the one thing I just hate spinach. Grace Elementary ruined spinach for me. I remember stuffing that stuff in the milk carton, man.
Yeah,
That was terrible.
we didn't like the spinach.
That and the green bean and wiener gravy
Oh,
meal or
yeah.
whatever they used to service, but probably shrimp would be my
All
go-to.
right. That's a good
Favorite
one.
drink. I'm a water guy.
Mm.
Now, I'm a Dr. Pepper guy at heart, but back in 2007 for New Year's Eve, for New Year's resolution, I made this stupid resolution to go a year without pop. Well, then
And you
I
lost
made it.
weight,
I
right?
made it. So then I'm like, now what do I do? Do I keep going or do I get back on? Do I start drinking again?
Yeah.
So I kept going. So it's been January 1st, 2007
Good. And
since I've
Wow.
had a pop.
a long time.
That's too long to have a swig, isn't it? That's just
Yeah,
too long a
so
streak.
Yeah.
so I drink a ton of water. I love cold milk
Hmm.
and,
Well,
and
Shelley
chocolate
could
milk. But anyway,
All
Shelley had
right.
a trailer full of cold milk.
yeah, I was thinking about that. I was call Shelly and get me hooked up with some milk.
Give Me Grace, a podcast by Alan and Nolan, will return after these brief messages. Now back to this episode of Give Me Grace, a podcast by Alan and Nolan.
What about dessert? You didn't make a New Year's resolution about dessert, did you?
No, that's my weakness. No. My favorite is my mom used to make me a chocolate cheesecake type of a thing for my birthday every year, and that's probably still my favorite. In fact, when I was on my mission, at this point I was in Lexington, Kentucky, I get a package from my mom. It was chocolate cheesecake, all made up,
Hmm.
that had been delivered through the mail. And
Wow.
my companion and I sat there and had chocolate cheesecake for my birthday.
Awesome.
Well,
That's really
that's got to
cool.
be your favorite if mom will do that for you.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's really cool. Very good. So you served a mission in the heart of basketball country,
Yep.
didn't you?
It was a Kentucky Louisville mission at the time. I spent almost half my mission up by Cincinnati.
Oh, okay.
So it's when the Bengals won the Super Bowl, and
Oh, okay.
I think the Reds were hot at the time. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah, that would have been early 90s. Yeah.
yeah.
Some of those good Reds teams.
The guy who fell over me when I broke my neck, we were in the same mission.
No way.
like this guy?
Somehow we put it together and we met up at a zone conference. Yeah, the same.
Wow.
Elder Anderson. He was an Anderson.
Also
Oh.
Anderson.
And
Wow.
he was the guy who fell over me when I broke my neck. And
So he remembered that lucidly then, having
Yeah.
been on
we
that
took
side of
pictures
it.
kind of reenacting it. And
Did you
That's
try to stay away
awesome.
from him on P days? Like,
Yeah,
hey,
really. Let's not play ball together.
you about killed
We
me
have a-
once. I can't
have
be
a
with
history.
you.
Very good. How about music?
I have to chuckle when you talk about Air Supply because I've been to 2 concerts in my life. And not my daughter, my oldest, got me the little Cherry Peak resort, ski resort up here. They do a summer concert series.
Oh, wow.
And her and her husband did it. And one of the bands was Air Supply.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And they got moved because it was so hot so down here at the new high school on the north end of Cache Valley, I went to Air Supply. And then the other one, she got me tickets to the Beach Boys at the
Okay.
fairgrounds in Logan. So I've been to Beach Boys and Air Supply.
That's some
when I
hopping
was-
stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't a big music person. Like I hate rap and I don't like heavy metal.
So it's
Uh,
more music's more about what you don't like than what you like.
yeah. And I'll tell you what, I've listened to more music since I've been an AD because I soon realized I can't just trust kids and let them play
Oh,
us.
that's true because they have their little playlists. You have to listen
Yes.
through it.
And
Yeah,
I've
good
had parents
point.
come down and hit skip, And so we have an iPad, my assistant and I, that every song on a playlist, we go through the lyrics.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of songs I like. I probably can't tell you who sings it, but there's songs I like and that's what I listen to. But I will say this, and this might be embarrassing to say, but I remember as a kid driving around with my mom and dad they had their 8-track, Kenny Rogers,
Oh,
8-track, John
yeah.
Denver, Neil
Yeah.
Diamond. And so when I'm all by myself and doing something, a lot of times it's, hey Siri, play the essentials of John Denver
Oh, that's cool.
or Kenny Rogers or Neil Diamond.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought you were
cool.
going to say you pull out the old 8 tracks.
Now that would be embarrassing.
And
Uh,
I have even said play the essentials of Air Supply.
how about that?
Nice.
Yeah,
So
very good. Yeah, I do the same
Yeah.
thing. My dad loved Foreigner when I was
yeah.
like early 80s. So I'll play
Yeah.
Foreigner sometimes just because he liked them.
See, but I
Yeah.
remember Chicago and like the Cars. Remember the Cars?
Cars were so awesome.
good.
How have they
Cars, I
not come
remember.
up on any episodes yet? The Cars were so cool.
I remember having the Cars cassette tape and
Yeah.
yeah. So and I like
Yeah.
Journey, but I don't know if that's I kind of listen. I like country. Um,
Hmm.
my oldest boy listens to a lot of country, so we do that. But anyway,
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Cars. That's a perfect one. You might think. Get that going. That'll
That was
get you
the
juiced
video,
up.
right? That was the really creative video.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that was the creative video with the bee with the little Rick Ocasek's head on it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys remember all that.
Well, you remember basketball stuff, and then we remember worthless stuff.
I was telling Nolan about the dude who struck me out twice when I was 9 years old. So it's just hit and miss what I
Cousin
remember.
Gary
Uh,
Thomas. He's
Gary
in.
Thomas.
He's in.
Yeah, he struck me out
Probably similar, I
twice.
think.
Gary Thomas works for
Yeah.
Cache County School District.
That's what I thought.
My 3 youngest sons have been involved in the Portuguese immersion program.
Oh wow.
So my Quaid, who just graduated, has been in that program since 2nd grade.
Hmm.
So, and he was the first class, and so they had this graduation thing. So Gary, me, the superintendent, and Gary Thomas
How
were
about that?
sitting at the table having a meal together. But I remember playing. I told Gary, I remember you being in like 6th grade, and me being my first year of Little League.
Yeah.
He was playing shortstop, and I'm playing first base. I'm scared to death of Gary had thrown that ball across the freaking diamond, and I'm supposed to catch this thing. I remember being so scared.
Yeah, so you were on his team. Yeah, he struck me
Yeah.
out. It was the only time I struck out when I was 9. He struck me out twice.
Oh. Remember Coach Bill? Coach
Yeah,
Bill.
I love Coach Bill. Okay, so
Bill died recently.
here's the story. He did.
Yes.
Oh man, Coach Bill. So before I moved to Grace, I lived around the valley, different places, and somebody and we were over goofing around during a football practice or something like that. And the older guys were giving me a hard time. And I called one of the guys a dink.
Potty
I
mouth.
can edit that
And
out.
Coach Bill heard me and he's like, get out of here. You guys are annoying. And we moved to Grace. And who's our home teacher? Coach Bill. I remember being so terrified when he came over to our house that he was going to tell my parents that I used the word dink.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's funny.
Good
Coach
stuff.
Bill.
Yeah.
I think I saw someone said that he passed away recently.
Oh man.
Oh, I
Yeah,
heard
he
that
lived over on the other side of the high school, just south of the high school there.
Huh.
I remember.
Remember the
Yeah.
old Teton All-Star tournaments?
Oh yeah, we were talking about that with Todd. Yeah, can you name the starting lineup?
Oh, freak.
Can you the positions? Because I got maybe 5 or 6. Okay, who was the catcher?
Like of our old age, like of our
Yeah,
class.
the 12-year-old team. Yeah, when
Oh.
we were 12. You were like pitcher shortstop.
I caught a little bit too, but
Did you?
I think
You
I
weren't the
was,
main
I
catcher.
don't think I was the main one.
It was Dusty Young.
Okay.
Dusty Young was the
Dave,
catcher.
David pitched too, right?
David pitched a lot. You and Dave did most of our pitching. And then we had
Uh,
Jared Rasmussen and John Van Vliet.
okay.
I think one of them played first base and one played the outfield. We had Todd in center. We had Shane Mansfield.
Shane Mansfield.
Josh Gibbs was on that team. Maybe Brandon Jensen. I remember him for some reason. And then can't remember what else. But yeah, we had so much fun at those
Yeah.
tournaments.
Snow cones.
Snow cones. Basically lived on snow cones and hot dogs for 3 days. That was awesome.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm digressing. I can't keep you guys on
No,
subject.
not at all. Let's go hobbies.
Oh, you know what? This is probably going to just shock the world out of you, but we've done a lot of sports in my day. Like my oldest daughter played sports. I really have had one. My sophomore doesn't really get into sports. Everyone else does. And so we've spent family trips and all that around kids' activities. And
Yeah.
so that's a lot family. We took up fishing during COVID.
Okay.
We kind of fish a little bit, but I think we've done it for 2 years now. I was always so busy coaching during the winter, we didn't ski or snowboard a lot. So a few years ago, we're like, for Christmas, we did ski passes.
Cool.
There's a new ski resort out in Richmond. It's
Yeah,
like
you've mentioned it. I'd never heard of it. That's cool.
It's not very big, Cherry Peak, but it's great for us beginners. And
So
so,
it's just up on the mountains on the east there?
yep,
Okay.
yeah, you would never know it was there, but you turn east there in the middle of Richmond and head up to it. And
Okay.
so we've been doing that and we have loved that. So my two youngest snowboard, and then the rest of us are back skiing and it cost me more money stopping at Big J's for a burger on the way home than it does for the ski passes.
Big J's in Richmond.
Yeah, Big J's in Richmond. So
Oh yeah, I've been there.
probably
Foreshadowing.
what's that?
Foreshadowing. We're going to talk about that later.
So, yeah, probably those. Kind of by default, my wife loves flowers, and we were stupid and put in a lot of flower beds in our.
Okay. They got to fill those up. Do you do a lot of perennials so you don't have to worry so
Yes,
much about it?
absolutely, because I'm sick of planting. I think this is the first year we actually haven't had to plant something new for 15 years, but
Okay.
anyway.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Should we move to
Yep.
category 3?
Absolutely.
So we know that you went to Grace. We see the proof there. You never went to Thatcher, right?
Never did. No.
No. Oh, I kind of asked someone last time. Thatcher had a reputation of being wild, and I asked Corky and who was the other person about Grace's vibe, and you're like, oh,
Todd,
Kathy.
I think. I don't remember.
Kathy. I think it was Kathy.
Yeah, it
And
was
you all
Kathy.
decided that it didn't really have a vibe.
We played a lot of sports, but I don't know if that's a vibe. That was just the boys mostly. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
She said you were all too worried about your schooling and stuff, I think, to
We
have a
were
vibe.
She wasn't speaking for me.
I'm not sure what she was talking about. But,
Okay. We know that you went to Grace Junior High. Who was your
Yeah.
favorite junior high teacher?
Probably some that have been mentioned in other episodes, Mrs. Lloyd,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Wilker. But I'm not sure I really disliked any of them. I remember getting something thrown at me in class by Mr. Washburn. I think it was an eraser.
Nice.
He checked
Oh,
that out.
that's
I remember David Shaw jumping out the window once of Mr. Washburn's classroom.
Wow.
I remember being swatted by Mr. Keel.
Did he really swat you?
Oh yeah.
That's
That's
Okay.
why education. I thought I was going to get to do that. I can't even come close to thinking about doing that nowadays.
No, that doesn't
I
happen
remember,
anymore.
I think it was me and Jared Rasmussen for one, and maybe some others. We weren't very well behaved when we had a sub, and he made us come up in front of the class,
Oh, I
reach
think
down,
I do
touch our
remember that.
toes, and he gave us a little
Okay.
slap.
Awesome.
His paddle had those holes drilled in it.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
wicked.
Aerodynamically sound.
Yeah, it was so. Yeah, probably Mrs. Lloyd and Mr.
Yeah.
Wilker.
Okay, so let's go back to elementary school just
Go ahead.
for a second because we need to do some Grace stuff because they get well, you know, Kevin, they get these Thatcher people, they get talking about Thatcher. And we heard stories about Thatcher in 6th grade. We heard all kinds of
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh,
we
yeah.
didn't know what was apocryphal and what wasn't, but it was wild stuff. So well, who did you have? Do you remember who you had in 3rd grade and 5th grade? Did you have the Clarks at any point? Mrs.
Fifth
Clark or
grade was
Mrs.
Corey's mom. 5th grade was
Okay.
Mrs.
You had
Kingston.
Mrs. Kingston. So I didn't. I had Mr. Clark.
You know,
5th grade.
I had Kingston. 3rd grade, I had Clark.
Okay. We were
Mrs.
in the
Clark.
same 3rd grade class. And one of my memories of Mrs. Clark, I've always told my kid, just like my kids is one of the first memories I have of school, early school is one of the only ones probably, was she was reading Where the Red Fern Grows to us out loud. And I just remember at the end, she was like just bawling as she's reading Where the Red Fern Grows. And I remember just being so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little Ann and Old Dan, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
That's the two
Yeah.
dogs' names?
I
Yep.
remember once with Mrs. Kingston that I can't remember who it was with. I think Corey was in on it, and I think David.
Probably.
She kept us in one recess and was going to give us the SWAT,
Ooh.
but someone had put something down their pants for
boy.
cushioning on their butt, you know. So anyway, we got her laughing so hard that she finally just told us to get out of there, and we
Oh,
got
I
out of the
think I
SWAT.
remember
We
that.
got our recess, and because we got her laughing so hard, we didn't have to get our SWAT.
I'm glad that Corky brought elementary back up because it reminded me to ask you, did you come to the dance in Thatcher in 6th grade? There's
I
a,
think I did, but I can't remember.
okay.
Yeah, I don't remember
I
it
think I
either.
did, but what I remember is playing them in sport. Remember when we used to have
Yeah. Yeah, we'd have the
Yes.
Grace versus
Yeah.
Thatcher basketball
Uh-huh.
games. They were
Right.
fun.
We were horrible.
Yeah.
I remember playing in that.
Yeah.
I remember David Shaw up in Mrs. Wilker's classroom upstairs.
Yep.
It was April Fool's, and someone was on crutches, and David was, I think he was standing on the handles. Kind of imagine this, David kind of
Like
messing around
Stilts, like
Yeah.
stilts.
and he
Yeah.
falls right by her desk, and all of a sudden he starts screaming in pain, "My leg, my leg, my leg!" And Mrs. Wilker gets up and runs, and he jumps up and yells, "April Fools!" And I remember thinking that was so hilarious.
Yeah.
She was so mad at him for doing that. But,
I
oh,
can imagine.
Corky, I was going to ask you, was it you and David that got hit by a car? Who got hit by a car on the snowmobile?
That doesn't sound familiar.
Wasn't
Might
you?
have been David and somebody because he snowmobiled all the time, but I don't remember being with him then.
Maybe it was
No.
Dave.
Might have been Dave and somebody though.
Somebody got hit in town on a snowmobile by a car.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't me,
Okay, maybe it was David.
unless it got hit in the head.
We'll ask David when he comes on.
Yeah, we'll have to get him. We're trying to get Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ran
hopefully
into him once when I was coaching it. So my first job was at Bear Lake.
Mhm.
So I taught and coached in Bear Lake. I was head basketball coach, offensive coordinator in football, and I ended up being a head softball coach.
Mm.
I don't know how that happened. They were pretty desperate. But we went back to Grace. We always played Grace.
Mhm.
I ran into, that's the last time I saw David. I remember seeing him at a game.
Oh, okay.
It was one of my funnest wins. Nolan, you asked me earlier. We were down one.
Feeding Grace.
We were at Grace. We were down one with 2 seconds on the clock, and we were taking the ball out under their basket.
Oh, wow.
So we had to go the full length, take a timeout. We throw the ball. This kid right in front of our sign goes up and grabs it while in the air, throws it to a guy streaking down the middle of the floor, him for the layup. We won by one we had to go. We were down one with 2 seconds left and ended up winning.
That's
Did you
pretty
ever
cool.
did you ever think you would be the villain in the Grace high school gym?
No, I never did.
Oh boy.
That's awesome.
Let's see. So that's a good segue right back into high school. Tell us
Yeah.
about your freshman year in high school.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite teacher there in Grace?
I remember having Mr. Smith. I remember Mrs. Harris teaching me how to type. It's,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, they've come a long way since
Mhm.
then. So probably those two, probably Mr. Smith and Mrs. Harris.
Harris, yeah. And your mom was the secretary at the school,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. I remember the old cans of Tootsie Rolls they used to
You'd sell them, right? Or something?
they sold them in the office. They were those tubes of Tootsie
Yeah.
Rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ate my fair share of those Tootsie Rolls that they
And
sold.
then, and then when they were empty, you'd put a little Tootsie Roll wrapper in the end, and then you could stomp on it and it'd shoot the lid across the room and make
Went
it
across the room. That's
Yeah.
probably
Yep.
why they quit selling them.
probably.
Probably became a weapon.
Remember, we had the old gum wrapper footballs. Everyone would play.
Oh yeah. You fold it into a
yeah.
triangle and play it at
Yes.
lunch. Yeah.
You know what
We'd
I was
have-
thinking about the other day
Yeah.
too, about this one? Maybe you remember, okay, in the main gym at Grace,
Yeah.
down by, would it be the visitors locker room? Would it be the northwest corner? Was that the visitors locker room?
Yeah.
It's where we dressed for Little League basketball.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the floor, there was these two little silver plate things that had a hole in the middle.
Yeah.
We used to take like a dime or a nickel, and we'd slide that coin back and forth.
Yep.
Remember
I
this
remember
game,
that.
Corky?
Yeah, I do. I
And
do
you
remember
you
that.
got a certain point if it was in the silver thing, if it
Mhm.
was in the hole, you got more points.
Yeah, it was like
I
it was like
remember
mini
playing that
cornhole.
game for
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah. Yeah. We'd be kneeling down there
Yes.
all gathered around that little plate. Yeah. I do remember that.
Was it a form of gambling also, or was it
Oh,
just
we didn't put money down.
no?
Should've.
It was just competition. We were all too scared to bounce the ball and stuff because Ray Wilker would have yelled at us and taken the ball during Little League games. Remember Big Ray yelling, "Hey, hold the ball!"
Yeah.
You imagine kids nowadays playing that game and compared to
Oh yeah. What they've got going now. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty
Anyway.
simple.
What is something from your time in middle school, high school that you think about?
I've thought a lot about since you guys have started this that
Right.
I mean just we had fun. Like and it was just good most of the time, wholesome fun that most of the time. And I don't know, I just value looking back on it now, especially having moved away.
Yeah.
And I value that time that I spent in Grace because it was
Do you
just
remember watching Flash Dance at Rochelle Sanders' house?
I don't know.
They were talking about did you go to those middle school parties at Rochelle's house?
I
And
think I did. I don't know. Maybe I
some people
wasn't-
would watch movies and other people would go to the closet, I think. I don't
Uh,
know.
I-
But you went to the Flume a lot too, right?
yeah, I did the flume a lot. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I never got off and swung off the rope. Like,
Yeah, where people
Think-
jump off the
Some of those
bridge.
guys. Yeah.
yeah, I think some of those guys were nuts, but
I
the
did that
flume a
one
lot.
time. That was enough for me. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
I-
I'm not gonna do
I didn't need to do that, but
that.
All right. You get to tell on somebody now. Tell us a story about someone from class of 89.
I don't know if I have a specific story. I remember the old Halloween carnival that they had at the elementary school, and
Oh yeah.
I can't remember, Corky, maybe you were there. We stole all the soap from the bathrooms in the elementary school, and we went and soaped all the windows at the junior high.
I remember that. Yes. I remember that.
And then
Yeah.
like
I
the
remember
next
soaping the
day,
windows.
yeah, the next day I think they let the whole school out to go clean up the windows because they had soap all over them.
Yeah, we were trying to act natural because
Yeah.
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 we're like, let's just be like everybody else so we don't get
Yeah.
in trouble. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
I
soaping
remember-
the windows.
But I remember, Corky, when you talked about, remember when we used to go out and get people to chase us?
Yeah, I remember you doing that once in a while.
Yeah, hiding
Yeah.
under trailers and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
my wife's like, "You did what?"
I know.
So I don't know if I have a story that really would sell anyone out.
Yeah. You're probably keeping your nose clean, as Mr. Smith would say, right? You had your
Oh,
ducks in a row.
I
All
know.
right, let's change back to Corky asking the
All right,
question.
here we go. We've got some grab bag stuff here.
Okay.
This is the 20th anniversary of Napoleon Dynamite. So, do you remember that coming out?
I do remember it coming out. We had just moved. I just left Montpelier and headed for a job at Ogden High School.
Oh,
And I
okay.
remember sitting in the living room in my house in Clearfield. We moved to Clearfield, and I don't remember much about it. I wasn't a terribly huge. I'm sorry, Nolan, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. I remember thinking, "Oh my gosh, I can't." Well, people think this is funny, but I did watch it when it. I think it was the year it came out because we moved from Montpelier to Clearfield in '04, and I think that's when it came out.
Yeah.
So just think that the Big J's in Richmond, the original Big J's in Richmond, because it used to look different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is where Kip and LaFonda were having milkshakes and
Okay.
playing.
Oh,
what's
that
the-
was set in Richmond
That-
or
that-
filmed in Richmond. So, Bluebell or Turner's?
Bluebell. My grandma, Olson, lived right across from John Van Vliet,
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Just up
So
the
we-
road from.
just up the road
Oh.
she was the first house past the park.
Oh, okay.
So there's many days that I walked from Grandma Olson's to the Bluebell to get an ice cream cone. I mean, and then like everyone has said, the pinball game.
Yeah. Oh, Blast Off was so good.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Would you
Sorry.
put quarters? Would you put quarters on the glass to
To
say that
reserve your,
To
yeah.
save your spot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That's
Problem
right.
is David Shaw would always get that big clicking, that big sound because you earned a free game. So he would
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah.
put the quarter. I'd kind of forgotten that, but you'd slide a quarter on the glass there to.
I'm
Yeah.
next.
Next up. Yeah,
Now,
that's right.
Remind me about this. Maybe Crystal would have to tell us, but I think we still make something in our house called the Farmer Special.
Oh,
It sounds
And
familiar.
I think I first got this from
that
the
could
Bluebell,
be.
a hamburger or a cheeseburger with a slice of ham on it.
Oh,
Yeah, I
I
think
think they called it the
that
Farmer
sounds a little, yeah,
Special.
yes,
Yeah.
because I always thought it was so disgusting when people would get the farmer's special and they would put ketchup on it. I thought that was so, it's like, it's got ham, people. You can't put, you can't put ketchup on ham.
you can put ketchup on anything. Porky's
But
anti-ketchup.
Yeah, I don't like it.
We still make farmer specials in our house.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
Like my daughter will call, my oldest daughter, hey, what if we do farmer specials? And so,
That sounds so good. See, the ranch hand had trucker special
yeah,
here in Montpelier.
yeah.
Huh.
Ranch had also had the pancake that was about 18
Yes.
Yeah.
or so.
Yeah.
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 Very
Let's ask
good.
him. Let's ask him. Where was the Bluebell of Logan? Where did people go to hang out? Or was
Yeah.
there a certain
Yeah,
place?
when you were
What did y'all
in
do for fun in Logan?
Mendon.
Mendon, you had to leave Mendon to
Logan.
find anything to do. You know what? I don't think there was really like a Bluebell. There was still dragging Maine in the day,
Okay.
but a
Oh,
lot of
Logan.
times,
Yeah, we used to go to Logan to drag May.
Sure.
Yeah.
and a lot of times a bunch of cars would pull up and like maybe along the Main Street there, like in like the Fred Meyer parking lot or something. A whole bunch of cars would stop and circle up and talk and have
Yep.
fun and whatever. But
Okay.
I really can't remember.
About Angie's? Did people go to Angie's or not so much?
I can't remember back then.
Mhm.
Angie's is still popular now.
Yeah, it is.
Mm.
Good.
Some of my buddies and I used to always go get ice cream at Charlie's.
Okay.
Charlie's ice cream. It was kind of our big thing. We'd go get a shake.
Mm.
Yeah.
But
If you wanted to play pinball and Dig Dug, you didn't have anywhere to go. Huh?
I really don't remember doing that. I don't remember.
So that's what makes the Bluebell so special. Like, that's a one of a kind place. Like,
Yeah.
people hang
Yeah.
out. All right.
All right. So Soda or Preston? Was that which of those places was
I probably went to Soda more.
okay?
I remember, I remember spending time dragging Maine and Soda with some people. My mom, for my birthday, always took me to the Brass Lantern.
Yep.
That was
Scott and Tina there at the same time.
Yeah.
that was our birthday meal from Mom would take us, and we loved it. The Brass Lantern had great pizza.
We
Yeah.
thought so too when we were kids, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a special
So-
treat to go to the
So
Brass
probably
Lantern.
soda
Yeah.
more than Preston, yeah.
Okay. What about Pocatello or Logan? You're probably a
We
Logan
always
guy.
came Logan way because like my orthodontist was down here. My oldest in my family is a girl. She lived down this way, so
That's
it
right.
was more Logan for us.
Yeah, with I had both sets of grandparents in the valley, so we did the same thing. Cache
Yeah.
Valley. We'd head to Logan for a haircut or
Yeah.
get gas or whatever. All right. So here's a question. My sister Corey, my older sister, has been listening to these, and she says, so we're going to try it out. She
Okay.
says we have to ask this question. So it fits here. Caribou County Fair.
Mhm.
Give us a memory from the Caribou County Fair,
Oh, geez.
or your sort of general impression of the fair. Is it something you look forward to?
Oh, absolutely. Like that was like the main event of the summer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was kind of
so
like
yeah.
seeing people again. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're off working all summer, and then it's like the fair brought everyone together again.
Yeah.
The food, I remember the hamburgers, the
Yeah.
pie a la mode. I
Mhm.
remember,
Yeah.
of course, the carnival. I'm not a big ride guy, so I remember throwing. I
Yes.
remember going on rides and having to run to the bathroom because I'd throw up.
Yeah.
But
Did you
the
do the baseball game where you
Yes.
where
guess
you'd
your
win a
speed.
actual like real helmet, like
Oh,
not a real
yes.
helmet, but like
Yeah.
the team helmets? If you
Yes, 'cause
guessed your
So
Yeah.
Corky, I think one time we came to the Salt Lake Goals. It was the
Yeah, I
goal.
remember Todd's dad
Yes.
practicing his camper. Yeah.
And I think I had won one of those helmets at the fair, and I wore it
Yeah.
Of course you did.
So Salt Lake
Yeah.
Goals.
Trophy.
Yeah, you ended up with the foul ball that came our way
Yes,
too.
I did. I ended up with a foul ball at the Salt Lake Goals game.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
the fair 2 years ago. Well, this might be one of your questions, but
Go for it.
the last time I was in Grace.
Oh, we can go.
Yeah, do that
So-
now.
So 2 years ago, let's see, was it maybe 3 years ago? We rotate through my siblings of who's in charge of the reunion for our
Mm.
family. And my sister, the oldest, we went out to the golf course, Christensen's.
Oh yeah.
We had our reunion out there at the golf course is that Central? What do they
Central.
call it?
Yeah.
Central.
Central Links.
We went out there and camped.
RV Park.
In our it was because we did it over fair weekend.
Oh yeah.
So we went camping and then went into the rodeo
Oh,
and
that's cool.
everything and it had changed it, more food trucks and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But it was awesome. We invited a lot of my aunts and uncles that still live up there that came out and to
That's
our
cool.
reunion and stuff. So even one of our reunions was built around the Caribou County Fair.
How about
Did
that?
you see Scott
Years later.
Ropin?
Yeah, did you see Scott and his father-in-law roping?
Oh, I don't think I did.
Okay.
I don't think I saw Coach Hook.
Coach Hook.
He was sitting at the top, and I said, I'm totally indebted to you, Coach Hook, because I remember once in art class was over in the high school.
Yeah.
Imagine this, I may have been a little rowdy or something, but there was that back door that went out to like the different room. It wasn't in the gym. And he grabbed his paddle and we walked out there and he was going to give me a swat. And I remember, I don't think I've ever told this story to anyone.
Okay.
I
This is
told
what
him
this show's all about.
I told him I'd keep it a secret. So he's like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. So instead of swatting me, he lifts up his shoe and he hits the sole of his shoe to make it sound like he was swatting me. So then I had to act like I had to go in like I got swatted because he didn't want me to sell
Be
it
an
out.
example.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Coach Hook.
you got a lot of paddles.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's why I went into education. I thought I was going to get to do that.
Do I
I
get
think
to paddle kids?
I think you guys set me up. I think
No.
Nah, it could have been.
oh no.
All right.
All right, we're to Nolan's questions.
Yeah. So, what's something we might not know about you?
Hmm.
Or you just told us really the J Hook story, but
Yeah, that's a
is there
good one.
something else that we don't know about Kevin Andersen?
You know, the one thing I was probably going to share about that was my neck thing, but some of you knew, some of you didn't. But
You don't have any secrets. That's
I
okay.
don't think there's a whole lot
Yeah.
that I don't mind to cook.
How many? How
All
many?
right.
Okay, so you're talking about your grandkids. How many grandkids do you have? Just
Now two,
just the
Two.
two. When
As
then,
of today, one on
as
the
of
way.
today.
yeah,
One's 2 year old, one's 2 year old, and then he has a brother that was born today.
yeah.
Then my oldest daughter's having one
So it'll be
this
three.
month, September, and they're all boys. I'm gonna have three little grandsons.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Okay.
Is you are you guys you guys aren't grandparents, right?
No,
No,
better not be.
I tell you
no.
what, it's awesome. It's you know what's cool about it is watching your kids be the parent. That's
Yeah,
what
I
I
could see
love.
that.
And I like to sit back and laugh. When he turned 2 in June, and he's getting a little bit of an attitude, and
Terrible
oh my
too.
gosh, I just kind of sit back and chuckle and
Yeah,
say, oh, I love watching this. And
yeah.
but it's so cool watching your kids parent. I've really enjoyed that, and watch my oldest son how he treats his son, and that's been really cool. And there's just something about when they walk in and call you Papa, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Looking forward to it
Can't wait.
someday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm ready to
Now
be a
I'm
grandpa,
good.
but my kids aren't ready yet, so
yeah.
I gotta
I
wait.
think I probably got some maturing still to do before that. With the passage of time, what does growing up in Grace mean to you? And you've kind of talked about it a little bit, but expound on your feelings of the city of Grace.
You know what I was thinking earlier today about the fun that we had, like just the community, but also I think Grace is where I learned how to work.
Hmm.
I really like the sprinkler pipe, and getting up at 4 o'clock and getting on the motorcycle with Brad Painter and having him haul me to move freaking hand lines in potato fields, and
They're the
and
worst.
yes, those vines, you trip and fall in the mud, and
Yeah.
you have to get up and
Mosquitoes and
yeah, and the potato harvest and stuff. I just really think that's where I I learned how to
yeah,
work. And like I said earlier, like moving away and looking back, I think I'd have acted differently knowing that I was going to move away. I think I'd have valued our relationships and friendships a
mhm,
little more if I'd have known, okay, in third grade, when you hit ninth grade, you got to move away.
Mm.
But
mhm,
I never thought we were moving. I mean, my 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 lineage is in Grace, both sides of the.
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
never going to leave Grace, and then all of a sudden I was up and out of there, and it really I don't know. I just wish I'd have valued that.
But
The
luckily for you,
time
you're
of
only an hour and 10 minutes away or
Yeah,
something too. So you
yeah,
did, we would come down,
yeah,
a group of us. Maybe it was just that one time, but it was memorable for
yeah.
us. But
And I've been thinking about Brett Keller's episode, and him moving into a small. He came from, was it
Yeah.
Leighton,
Layton to
Yeah.
smaller. I think it would be easier to do what I did. I go from a school of 200 to a school of 1600.
right.
There's going to be groups somewhere that is going to accept me, right? Like just fit in easier because there's just more. There was more people there. And so I think that was probably easier for me to
Yeah.
move from a smaller to a bigger. Some people may not. Some people may disagree with that, but I tell you what it's done is I have a soft spot in my when I find out kids have moved into Mountain Crest. Like just the other day, I was walking through the gym, volleyball tryouts, and there's a girl that moved in from Washington.
Hmm.
This was like her second day being in Cache Valley. I go over and I
Okay.
have a special
Yeah.
place in my heart for those kids because I know what it's like to move away and try to have to fit in, and I make a special effort to go welcome them, and if you need anything, my office is here. You come and find me type of a deal. But I don't know if I answered your question, but
No, it's very good. Not only did Brett move to Grace, but he actually moved to Lego, which is even
Yeah.
the suburb of Grace.
Uh,
Oh, isolated.
So
uh,
tell us, who did you work for when you were moving the pipe?
Andresen's,
Okay.
Valjean,
Okay.
Ryan Andresen.
And Ryan's down in Cache Valley somewhere, isn't he?
No, here's another story.
Okay, so you can tell a
Years
story on
ago.
Ryan. That's fine.
No, he and I worked in the potatoes for him a lot. I think Stoddard for a year or two, but then I started moving pipe for Valjean.
Okay.
We bring food trucks in for some of our football games.
Yes, that's right.
And we brought in the famous corn dog truck. Well, not Corey, Ryan Andresen was
Mhm.
the owner. The one, I don't know if you for those
I've
coming
heard
to
of
Logan,
it.
stop at the IFA on the north end of Logan, and you'll be supporting Ryan Andresen. His
Oh,
boy runs it.
oh,
Wow.
wow.
Ryan was I think he did really well with like a software company, but he got out of that and bought corn dog trucks. And he came up to a football game a few years ago. I got pictures of Ryan and he made me this special corn dog. It's like 3 feet long. I'm walking around the football game, two-handing this corn dog, and boy, I was the envy of a lot of people.
That's awesome.
Okay. So now you have to tell us, did you put ketchup on your corn dog?
More mustard and honey.
Oh,
Yeah.
They-
You can
those-
you can, but
I
why would you?
I would put, a lot of times I'll take the ketchup and mustard, mix it.
yeah.
A lot of times with those corn dogs, I'll put they give you honey packets,
Oh,
little honey
that
and
actually
mustard
sounds
on
good.
It's pretty good, but
yeah. There you go.
I just had to see what Corky would think.
Yeah.
I told him that I put ketchup on the burritos at the Bluebell, and he about
It's just disgusting.
yeah, that is disgusting.
fried burrito.
Like a ketchup on a burrito?
When you don't
I don't
have
know what they're
salsa,
thinking.
That's
What's the difference between salsa and ketchup? Not
Oh,
much.
so
know.
a world, a whole world.
It sounds gross.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
You kind of talked about what you had done differently too, a little bit
Yeah,
in your
Yeah.
answer.
that was
I
good.
think, how have you changed since your time in Grace?
oh, I'm a lot smarter. Not that I'm smart now. I was just dumb back then. I think it's just like, were you nice to everyone
Mhm.
when I was growing up? I
Yeah.
sad to say I probably wasn't. But I think with just being older and wiser, and I think Chad Kirby mentioned with him being involved in education, seeing what kids go through sometimes.
Yeah.
It's incredible to me to hear some of the stories that some of the things they're dealing with, like
Yeah.
in their home life or whatever, that it just breaks my heart. I'm like, holy cow, I know I wasn't always I was a jerk sometimes probably. Um, and I kind of regret that, but man, I just older and wiser and going through and having kids and having a job and all that stuff. You think back, I remember watching my older siblings raise kids and my wife and God, we're never going to do it that way. Well, guess what? We probably ended up doing it that way because they knew what they were doing. But I don't know, I think it's just older and wiser and appreciate things a little more the older I get, and family's important. And I've always really believed that my siblings and parents are still close, and that's what my wife and I try to do. We want our kids to want to come home for Sunday dinner. And I'm lucky right now. All 6 of my kids are still in Cache Valley. And so
You are
Yeah.
lucky.
we are
That's
lucky.
awesome.
Like quite often we're together for Sunday dinners, and
Wow.
I just value that time. I was thinking about this too. John Van Vliet, how much time did I spend in the backyard at John Vliet's house playing
Oh,
dunk?
well, he had that like 8-foot basket. It was so fun.
And then we
my
put the
word.
tramp under like the phone wire, played volleyball over the phone wire, ran through the
Yeah,
backyard.
yeah. We would just all show up there just
Yeah.
after school every day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
I
probably
remember taking John down. Remember how ticklish John Van Vliet was?
Yes.
That's probably one of my not nice things. We'd take him down and tickle him.
Yeah.
probably after you moved away, but we played dunk ball at someone else's house.
No, that was the Lloyds across the street from the church.
Right.
I remember playing
Yeah.
dunk ball a few times, but not as much as
Yeah.
at
Yeah,
at John's house.
8.5
Yeah. We moved over there.
Good
Yeah.
times, Kevin. This has been fun to like just
Yeah.
reminisce and
Oh, I
see
tell you
you
what, I
and
think this
Grandpa Kevin and
Grandpa, Papa K, this is so cool you guys are doing this, and I really do appreciate you bringing me on because I really probably one of my regrets too is that I didn't keep in contact with people from Grace as
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
I wish, looking back on it, I wish I would have, but I didn't. And at first I was like, oh, I don't know if I should do that. I'm not
I
a
could tell you
graduate from
wanted to.
Grace.
So I'm like,
I did. Seriously, deep down, I wanted to do it
yeah, we
because,
wanted you.
like I said, I spent a lot more time with you guys than I did with my classmates down here. And I have some great friends down here, but I
Yeah.
didn't spend nearly as much time with them as I did you guys.
Yeah.
So
When we do have the class reunion, we'll invite you to come to the class
yeah,
reunion.
I'd love to come. So
Have you been to any of the Grace High School class reunions?
no,
No?
I have not.
Wow.
I didn't. My sister went back for her 45th, I think, just this last
Yeah,
weekend.
because she must have graduated. Well, she and your older brother both graduated
Yeah,
from Grace.
so Jack is the oldest, and then Jeff. Jeff didn't play any sports or anything.
Okay.
Craig
Craig, I remember.
played football and basketball.
Yeah.
And then Corey's younger than I.
Yeah.
So Corey and I were the ones that got shafted. We
Okay.
moved away from Grace and not shafted. It was a good move. My parents were probably wise in making me come and do all that. But boy, I remember when they told me I wasn't moving.
Oh, imagine living 100 yards from the Bluebell.
Oh, I
Your
know.
whole time growing up
Yeah.
in high school. That would have been
Yeah.
dangerous.
I remember playing high school ball against Brooks. He played
Oh,
at
yeah.
Preston and I played out
And
here.
he was in Preston. Yeah.
Yeah, because we had a Cache Classic every year. We'd start off the season with the three schools from Cache Valley and Preston. We
And
started.
those Preston teams were really good, and they went
Yeah.
to Utah to get some competition.
They
were
were
really
good.
good. Yeah.
Who won that game between Brooks's team and your team?
We rotated where the Cache Classic was held between the four schools. My senior year, the Cache Classic was at Preston.
Mm.
We beat them in the Cache Classic, but then we had to turn around and go back like the next week, and they beat us.
Hmm.
They were good.
Yeah,
They-
those
they
were good
were-
teams.
Brooks was a good player, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had a
Yeah,
good team.
Who was it who was Scott mentioned that? Then what if we'd have had Kevin and Brooks on our senior and Van Vliet? Van Vliet got hurt at Christmas time our senior
Oh, yeah.
year. We
Mike-
didn't even have
Mike-
him.
Mike Hansen was telling me about that, how he got hurt and
Yeah.
so couldn't make it back or something. But yeah,
Yeah.
and
You would have taken state.
Yeah, we
hey,
might
we
have.
always used to think, oh, wait till we get there and we're gonna.
Yeah, I remember. Well, that sixth grade year, the whole town was on fire
Yeah,
with the boys basketball team getting to the state
yeah.
final.
That was
The whole
83
town
year
went.
with
Rory Lloyd was a
Rory
senior.
Lloyd, yeah.
So I've
Alan
stayed.
Adler was really good.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've stayed in
yeah.
contact with Rory a little bit because I've coached against him and that type of thing. So Rory and I actually have talked quite a bit over the years through the
Mhm.
coaching world. But
I remember a conversation I had just thinking of these connections when I was a senior and Mike Hansen was my coach. I told him about you, and I think it was maybe because you had made news with the accident that happened at the state tournament. Maybe it was even that. But I said something like, can you imagine if he would have stayed in Grace, he'd be scoring 40 or 50 points a game. And Mike took the opportunity to teach me something. He's like, not necessarily, because the coaching is better, the development is better, the competition is better. He's probably the same player there that he would have been here. I always remember that. Just kind of a wise, taking the opportunity to teach me
yeah,
about how competition works.
yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. We had long before he met you, we had a conversation about you.
You know how many people I run into that have some type of connection
Yeah.
with Grace High School, with Grace Idaho? I mean, it happens to me all the time. Like I ran into just this last spring. There was a lady, I can't remember. What's the hill by night, or is that if you turn it?
Oh,
what's the big hill?
like south of Niter?
Clemens Hill, maybe?
Clemens is the windy one, right? Bailey's Market, there's that road that heads west.
Oh,
And you go
Turner.
down.
Isn't it Turner?
There's that steep hill.
I
She
know
lived
which
at
one
the
you're talking
Milford,
about.
Milford Hill.
Milford, maybe, yeah.
Oh,
Where
okay.
She lives at the bottom.
the miles, and then the
Yeah.
Hadleys live down at the bottom of it. The
She was
Ellsworth.
related to the Rasmussens, this lady.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jared,
wow.
Danny, Billy, and all those. And
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's
she was
right.
she was
Yeah.
related to them.
Nice. Yeah.
Anyway, it happens to me all the time.
Well, it
Wow.
happens to me even in Texas or New Jersey. I'm sure Corky could probably speak to that too. It's
Yeah,
just
here and there.
amazing how many people have connections to
Yeah.
Caribou County or something like that. So,
Okay, I got one JJ Donnelly story.
oh yes.
Oh, bring it.
Oh, do you have a photo wallet? Oh, we got to talk about that too. You tell your JJ Donnelly story, and then you got to tell us a little
Okay.
more info
I
about the
remember
Kelly Bitten thing.
what JJ used to drive?
Yeah,
Subaru
I can't remember
Brat.
what it was called, but it was
A
like
s-
a truck car
It's a
thing.
A
Brat.
Subaru Brat.
Brat. Yeah.
It was tan
Yeah.
Subaru Brat.
Yeah.
He and I used to, I don't know how, but I remember being with him when we'd drive all over and we'd go find pop bottles, the ones you could turn in for 10 cents.
Yeah. That's how
And
he gassed that thing up.
that's how we filled up his Subaru Brat with gas.
Yeah.
We'd go to the easy way and turn in pop bottles to buy gas.
I remember. Yeah.
That wouldn't
remember.
go very far nowadays.
Yeah.
No.
I
No.
remember once we were headed south on Main Street. There was Turner's Cafe and Caribou County Appliance. Is that what Marie Roberts and Lonnie
Yeah.
Roberts?
Yeah. Yeah.
Caribou County Appliance.
Yeah. Mr.
We're-
Smith. I worked for him.
Okay.
For everybody.
we're headed south. So we're just right in front of Turner's and Caribou and all that. And there's this little space to parallel park. And Corky or JJ doesn't slow down one bit. And he veers off into this little spot, hits his brakes, and and I tell you, we're like inches away from this car in front of me. I swear I put a dent in the bottom of his floor for my feet. I thought we were dead. Old Corky, JJ driving around and turn in bottles for gas money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
shoot.
So give us the juice on the Shelly Kevin 8th grade. I'm glad we're back together.
Now, Shelly seemed surprised.
So did I.
So that was my question. Did you
In other
remember?
words,
or
it
were you
means
like,
that you
oh,
were together, then you broke up, and then you were back together.
that's kind of what it sounded like. It's a
You know
lot
what
to get out of a picture. Yeah.
Oh,
Eighth grade.
that was hilarious. But I just can't believe someone like Shelley would even. I think when we used to pass the note, hey, will you go with me? Check yes or no.
Yeah. You had the two
Yes,
little
no,
boxes.
maybe.
I think she screwed up and meant to say no and hit yes. So when it came back to me, I thought we were a serious item. I think that's really what happened.
Well, I was thinking that also could have been like a strategy. It's like, I'll write on this picture that we're going together, and maybe she'll just think we are.
Maybe she
Because I
forgot
never
that-
thought of that. That's
Maybe
genius.
she forgot that she checked yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably Shelley's fault. I moved away. I was probably heartbroken when she dumped me. Probably.
Maybe she had a hard time keeping track because she had 2 pictures of Robert Pearson
Yeah.
and 2 pictures of Corky.
I had
Yes.
2 pictures of me. But, I mean, you're saying that that's proof that she liked the person more, but I think it's the opposite. I think if you're giving someone a picture, you want to make sure that picture gets in her hands. I think that's what was going on.
Oh, but you notice how many of the girls are like, "Oh, JJ was so cute.
He was-
so cute."
He was a
Okay.
good-looking young man.
Yeah.
He was a handsome young man.
Now
had to
I'd
go.
like to- I'd like
When-
to see him
When
now.
she read
He
that,
had
I
some
was like,
game,
oh
too.
my gosh.
What's
Yeah.
that?
When she read that, I was like, oh my.
Oh,
That was the
man.
best, wasn't it?
That was a lot of fun.
That was pretty classic. But
Yeah.
I think it's funny, her being a truck driver. Can you just picture the people, this big old trucker, and then little old Shelly Bitten jumps out of the cab of this
Yeah.
big truck, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was laughing. But
I think
was
it could be
surprised.
really instructive. People would like rethink things. It's like, maybe the world is a bigger place than I think it is.
That
oh,
was good.
but that was fun. Yeah, I really don't think she knew what she was doing. And maybe it's what you said, Noel. Maybe I was just hoping, and so I just told her we were going. We
See if
were
she
back.
catches this.
The picture. Yeah.
Awesome.
I was just hoping that there was some kind of a breakup story, but then you decided that you made a mistake.
Oh.
So now I'm gonna give her a picture and say we're back together. But
No, but
I can't
ask him
remember
the
it
score of the
because-
Malad game
right,
when he was a
exactly.
freshman.
His memory bank is full of stats
That's how it is with me anyway.
and
Yeah.
from tournaments,
Yeah.
6th grade or whatever. But
It
well,
was those sports days in Grace were awesome. I love the sports days there. But
Yeah, it was special to grow up in a school that size. Like someone like me could play sports. I tell people I was a linebacker in high school. They're like, what? Are you sure you have the right word?
was it Brandon Welker playing on the line, right?
Dusty Young was. He was my size.
Yeah, that's right.
We played on the line. Dusty.
You do
Pulling
with,
guard.
You do with
Yeah,
what you have.
he was good too.
And then
Yeah.
Dusty, his daughter student taught at Mountain Crest a few years back.
Oh,
So
wow.
I got to know his daughter.
Oh,
you're
nice.
making lots of connections down there.
And now she teaches at Ridgeline. And then Corey Kingston's daughter, I think it's Gabby. She was my aide.
Oh, wow.
She was my aide at Mountain Crest.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and their daughters were on the dance team and cheerleaders. And so there for a while, Corey and Karen were very involved at Mountain Crest, and I'd see them all the time and stuff. So
I didn't know that's where their kids went to school. That's cool.
Yeah. We'll have them on soon, and so then they can tell stories about you.
Yeah.
You won't be able
awesome.
to defend yourself because your episode is already over.
Oh, we're gonna have to have rebuttal episodes at some
yeah, you might
point.
have to do round 2. You might have to start all the episodes over so everyone can come back. And
It's
So
like the
Brett
Golden
Keller's
Gate
gonna be like-
Bridge of podcasts.
Brett Keller's gonna be like, Kevin broke our record, and so now I need an episode 2 4-hour episode.
I need another do.
I think I did, but holy cow,
Yeah, it's been 2 hours.
Wow.
I tell you what,
At least you guys are on Mountain Time.
Yeah,
No.
this has been awesome. I really do appreciate you guys having me on, and
You're welcome.
I don't know, I the good old Grace days. I still, as you can tell, I still got very vivid memories of
Yeah.
things that happened
Like
in Grace, Idaho, and I value those, and I'm always telling my kids stories from Grace, moving pipe or going and helping Mr. Wilker Brand, and
Yeah.
a lot of stories I still tell my kids.
That's
Awesome.
why we're doing it.
So,
Well, thank you, Kevin.
Yeah.
thank you guys. Good to see you guys, and you're doing a good job.
And tell Taylor hi for me.
Okay, I will do.
Have a good night.
Hey,
Yeah.
you too. Talk to you later.
All right.
On a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns of staring out the window at the darkness till boredom overtook us, and he began to speak. He said, "Son, I've made a life out of reading people's faces and knowing what the cards were by the way they held their eyes.